Let me tell you a little bit about guest speakers. Guest speakers can say anything they want and leave town. And so I'm introducing her as our newest person on staff who has to stay around and face the music after they're done speaking. So I want you to welcome her this morning to minister to us, our newest person on our staff, and she's kind of a cool person. So welcome Jordana as she ministers to us the word this morning.
Good morning. How's everybody out there today? You'll have to forgive me. I'm dealing with some allergies. I went for a walk yesterday after the brunch, and I came back from my walk just wheezing really bad. So before bed last night, I was like, you know what will help? Some fresh air. So I opened all the windows in my bedroom, and I woke up just wheezing. I was like, and I'm like, please, Lord, just let me make it through my sermon. I won't do nothing else the rest of the day, I promise. So first of all, I want to start by saying Happy Mother's Day to every mom, grandma, stepmom, foster mom, or anyone who has ever asked, why is everything sticky? Several times a day. Motherhood is wild. It's the only job where you get to be starving, exhausted, and dehydrated, while also holding a child who is also starving, dehydrated, and exhausted. And somehow, it's still all your fault. Motherhood is not easy. Who in here has ever felt like they weren't enough or like they weren't doing enough for their kids? Who in here has ever thought, I'm not a good mom? I'm right there with you. Motherhood is hard. How many of you have ever dealt with a toddler that refuses to take a nap but desperately needs one? I swear, I lay my son down and he's in there singing like he's auditioning for American Idol, toddler edition. 5 little monkeys jumping on a bed. Doctor said, oh, more monkeys jumping on the bed. And I'm yelling through the door like, son, lay down and take a nap. And he just switches songs. Hop, little bunnies, hop, hop, hop. You open the door and suddenly he's in WWE off the pillows. 15 minutes go by. Let it go. And I'm like, son, lay down. Now, I'm talking a lot about motherhood today. But honestly, this isn't just about moms. This is for anyone who has ever felt overwhelmed, stretched thin, or like you're barely holding it together. So basically all of us. So I'm in the middle of potty training my 2-year-old right now. And let me tell you, potty training your kid deserves an award. At this point, I don't care if he graduates high school in diapers. I'm over it. My entire life schedule is planned around somebody else's bladder. And somehow yelling, the potty is literally right there, does not produce the results you might have hoped for. I swear, I start my day by saying, oh, honey, you had an accident. No worries, let's get this cleaned up. Remember to use the potty next time. And then somehow, by 3 o'clock, I'm yelling, if you potty on my floor one more time, I am burning down the whole house. Who knows what I mean? It's hard. By the end of the day, you're exhausted. It's emotionally taxing. And you beat yourself up for yelling because you know that he's just learning. You know this is all new to him. But can I tell you something? You are learning too. This is all new to you too. Give yourself a little grace. And I'm not just talking about potty training. About 2 weeks ago, after several accidents, meltdowns, and Googling, is this normal? I prayed to God and I said, God, help me. Help me to stay calm with my kids. I hate that I lose my cool so often. Help me, Lord. What can I do? And I felt him speak to my heart. And he said, you learn regulation in the calm so that you can access it in the chaos. Wow. Okay, Lord, I hear you. But how do I do that? How do I learn regulation in the calm? And I got an image in my head of a boat in a storm Waves crashing, winds howling. The disciples are frightened, rowing the boat like crazy, running around, trying to fix everything, trying to just stay afloat, just trying to survive. Waves are crashing on all sides of the boat, and I picture some of the disciples frantically trying to scoop as much water out of the boat as they can. And then they look over at Jesus, sleeping in the middle of a storm on a boat that is filling with water, just lying there calmly, taking a nap. Not a care in the world that the boat might go down and that they could all drown. No, he's napping. And the disciples say, and I'm paraphrasing here, "Hey, Jesus, don't you care that we might die?" And what does Jesus say? "Why are you afraid? You have so little faith." Then he got up and he rebuked the winds and the waves. And suddenly there was a great calm. The scriptures say that the disciples were amazed. "Who is this man?" they asked. "Even the winds and waves obey him." You see, Jesus didn't wait for the storm to pass to have peace. Jesus carried peace into the chaos. But the disciples, they waited until chaos hit to look for peace. I want you to think about your own life for a moment. Where have you been trying to fight the storm alone? The disciples had Jesus in the boat the whole time, but they didn't access his peace until panic hit. And we do the same thing. We wait until accident number 7 or meltdown number 4 before we try to find peace. But we need to carry Jesus into accident number 1 and meltdown number 1. We need his peace with us when we start our day and when we end our day and every moment in between. We need to practice peace before the storm, not in the storm. If you practice peace before the chaos, then you'll be able to carry it through the chaos. Here's the truth. Calm is not the absence of chaos. It's the presence of Jesus. So I've been watching a lot of UFC fights with my husband lately, and something that's really been sticking out to me is how many of these fighters give glory back to God when they win, saying things like, "If you don't know Jesus, you need to know Jesus. And the only way to heaven is through Jesus." Did you know that the UFC is the fastest growing combat sport? It's tracking toward being one of the most popular sports in the world, with a global fan base estimating 700 million people worldwide. See, God can use anything and anyone to reach people, even if it's 2 men punching each other on the face on national television. But anyway, back to my message. So another thing that stands out to me is how these fighters walk into chaos on purpose. They know they're going to get hit, and they know that it's going to be painful. They know they're going into pressure, and in the middle of it, there's noise, there's intensity, and there's pressure from every direction. And it reminds me a lot of motherhood. Think about it. You've been in round after round after round, and you've taken more punches than you thought you could handle. You're tired, you're overstimulated, and you're just trying to hold everything together. And the crowd is like the voices in your head telling you that you aren't enough, that you're worthless. Why do you even try? Why can't you handle this better? Why don't you just give up already? And it's chaos all around. You feel like you're drowning under all the pressure. And then real life keeps coming. What's for dinner? What did the kids get their homework done? Did I pay that light bill? Am I being a good wife or husband? I got to get gas in the car. Why are these cabinets sticky again? Didn't I just wash them? When can I catch a break? And suddenly, you're not just tired, you're overwhelmed. And then you step into something wet, and you realize that your son has peed on the floor for the 9th time that day. And it's the final straw, and you just lose it. Come on, pee goes in the potty. How many times do I have to say that? Go sit down in your potty right now. And now there's tears. And you realize that you messed up once again, and you feel like crying too. But you see, Patience is not a personality trait. It's a fruit that has to be grown by the Holy Spirit. But see, every fighter has someone in their corner, someone who speaks strategy, strength, and calm into the chaos. And for us, that's Jesus. But here's the thing, unless you have practiced listening to him in the calm, you won't recognize his voice in the chaos. So what do you do now? Now that you've lost your cool and you feel like you've messed everything up? You apologize. Yes, you apologize to your child. Last week, I lost my cool with my daughter. I yelled at her, and I hit the table in frustration. And when she started crying, I got even more mad. No, stop. We are not doing this. Stop crying. You know what? Just go to your room. I cannot handle this right now. I messed up big time. Not only did I lose my cool, I also communicated to my daughter that her feelings were too much for me. I made her feel like she was a burden and like she had to learn how to deal with her emotions all by herself. I was overwhelmed, and all my daughter heard was, "Mommy only loves me when I get it right." When I calmed down, I was reminded that I'm not parenting my daughter for who she is today. I'm parenting, or not even tomorrow, not even 5 years from now. I'm parenting her for who she will be as a mom and a wife in her future. And when she's 16, she may find herself in some trouble. I'm hoping that never happens. But my prayer is that she will be able to call mom because mom will know what to do. I don't want her to think that mom won't understand and that she's got to figure it out all on her own. I want my kids to know that they can always count on mom. And when they come home in a bad mood, I want them to come to me with whatever is bothering them. And guess what? That starts now. That begins with the small things. If I dismiss her feelings now, she won't come to me with her feelings when she's older. So how do I learn how to have peace in the chaos? I learned to lean on Jesus. I build a relationship with him. I make my time with him a priority. Even if it's just worshiping while mopping the house or sitting on the front porch drinking coffee early in the morning, or if it's just spending a few extra minutes in the car before going inside. Because it's about inviting God into your normal everyday life. That's where you practice. Practice happens before the storm, not in it. So now comes the hard part. After I've calmed down, I found my daughter, and I sat down with her, and I gave her a long hug. And I told her how sorry I was for yelling. Yes, I apologize to my kids. I think this is one of the most overlooked parenting wins. I've been told, oh, if you apologize to your kids, they'll think they can run all over you. Well, you know what? Fine. Like I said, my goal is to parent them for who they will be in the future. I want them to know how to admit that they were wrong and how to apologize and how to restore relationships. And I also remind her that just because I'm apologizing, it does not make my behavior okay. And here's what I do next. I pray with her, asking God to forgive me for my anger and to help me lean on him next time that things feel overwhelming. This is so important for discipleship. Discipleship doesn't always happen in the big moments. A lot of times it's in the small moments. When you pray with your kids, you are showing them how to talk to Jesus and how to lean on him and how to ask him for forgiveness. When I apologize, I'm teaching my kids Ephesians 4:32. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as Christ and God forgave you. And lastly, I tell her, I'm not a perfect mom. But luckily, she has a perfect God, one who is always with her, and one who loves her more than I ever could, and one who fills every gap that I leave behind. Listen to me. You're not weak because you get overwhelmed. You're not a bad mom, wife, husband, or dad because you lost your cool. And you're not failing because you feel like you're drowning. You're a human, and you're learning. Jesus didn't calm the storm from the shore. He calmed it from inside the boat, right there, right in the chaos, right in the waves, and right in the panic. Take a breath right now. And remember, Jesus is in your boat. See, Jesus never promised us that he would keep us from the storms. He promised he would be with us in the midst of the storms. Not watching from a distance, not waiting on the shore, but right there, in the middle of it, in the waves, in the noise, in the overwhelm, and in the mess. The Israelites had to cross through the Red Sea with chaos ensuing around them, with water standing tall on both sides. They didn't walk around it, they walked through it, and God was with them right in the middle of it. Psalm 23 tells us that God walks with us through the darkest valley, not that God keeps us from going through it. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego weren't saved from the fire, they were saved in the fire. Daniel wasn't saved from the lion's den, he was saved in the lion's den. God was with them every step of the way, and he is with us too. The difference, I think, is that sometimes we forget that. And we try to do it on our own until it is too late. We don't serve a God who always removes the chaos. We serve a God who steps into it with us. Here's the truth. If you don't learn his voice in the quiet, you won't recognize it in the storm. If you don't sit with him in the calm, you won't hear him in the chaos. Your quiet time matters. Your alone time with God matters. Because it's in those quiet times alone that you learn to hear his voice. It's in those times that you build a relationship with him. And it's in those times that you learn regulation in the calm so that you can access it in the midst of chaos. Even if it's just 5 minutes before the kids wake up. Paul says that the peace of God guards your heart and mind. Psalm 46:10 tells us, "Be still and know that I am God." You don't have to find peace. You just have to stay close to the one who already has it. Practice peace in the calm so that you can carry it through the chaos. Because when the storm hits, and it will, you will not be fighting alone. You will hear the voice in the corner saying, "Peace, be still, I'm right here." So tomorrow, when the chaos starts again, I'm not chasing peace. I'm just remembering who is already in my boat, and his name is Jesus. So I've asked Curtis to play a song at the end, but before he does that, I want to pray. And during the song, I've asked Carolyn Churchill, my husband Wade, and Pastor Kevin if they'd come up, and if you need prayer during the song, come up and receive prayer. If you just want to feel the presence of the Lord, I recommend that I encourage you that you come up and kneel before the stage and just let his presence wash over you. Dear Lord, we just thank you for the way that you never leave us. We thank you for your promise that you go before us and that you are with us in the darkest valley. Lord, help us to lean on you when things get hard, when things feel overwhelming and we feel like we're drowning. Lord, help us to build that relationship with you. Help us to know that we can access your peace in the midst of chaos, that we don't have to let it go too far. Lord, I just pray that you're with every mom, wife, husband, and father as they navigate this life, because we know that we will mess up. We know that we need to ask for forgiveness time and time again, Lord, and we just pray that you are just with us and giving us that mercy and grace.